Alright, so on this day 2 years ago, I started my first Pokemon Nuzlocke. I did this because I saw Alpharad do his Pokemon Nuzlocke and figured, why not do the same? I also wanted to get back into streaming, but since my PC was absolutely terrible at the time, the only thing I could play and stream at the same time was Pokemon. But that's okay, cause I like Pokemon. So with all of that being said, let's get into the video. If you're unfamiliar with a Pokemon Nuzlocke, it's basically just harder Pokemon. You can only catch one Pokemon per route, and you have to nickname your Pokemon to grow more attached to them, because if they faint, they die. Got it? Okay, let's begin. I named my character Titan and left my rival as Gary. I changed the battle mode to set and walked outside so Professor Oak can give me my starter. Now this is a really important decision. This will be the Pokemon that will do most of the heavy lifting. Well, let's go over our options. Squirtle is good against the 1st gym, the 7th gym, and the 8th gym. It can also learn ice type moves, so that gives it an advantage over dragon types and maybe grass types. Charmander is good against the 4th gym, and that's it. Bulbasaur is good against the first 2 gyms and the last gym, so it's either Squirtle or Bulbasaur. Squirtle or Bulbasaur. Squirtle or Bulbasaur. I'm just talking, I chose Bulbasaur. I named it Onion, and then Gary challenged me. I won, then went to Viridian City to get Oak's parcel. After returning, he gives me my Pokeballs, and the Nuzlocke has officially begun. On the first route, I ran into a Pidgey, then killed it, sadly. Then arrived in Viridian City, where this old man taught me how to catch Pokemon. I remember in the original video, I said, "Listen here, old man, I've been a trainer for 33 seconds with 5 years of experience. You can't teach me anything." That's actually wrong. It was 6 at the time, since I started playing Pokemon in 2015. I don't know why I brought that up, I just thought it was funny. On Route 2, I caught a Pidgey and named it Sparky. Makes no sense, I know. While going through Viridian Forest, I caught Max the Weedle and almost lost Onion.
Oh yeah, and if my parents walk in, if my parents ever walk in, just act natural. I mean, you can't really see them. Oh my lord!
Then lost Sparky not even 5 minutes later.
Pidgey clutches this, I swear. No! First Pokemon of the run lost.
Death to poison. It's never easy. After making my way through Viridian Forest, I caught a Rattata and named it Heather. Once I made it to Pewter City, I take on Brock and absolutely destroy his team with Bulbasaur. Something that Charmander could never do. After defeating Brock, I got the running shoes. Finally. And then lost Heather.
Alright, well, there goes Heather. I think this might be the end of my run.
Yeah, it's not looking good for us right now. But it's whatever. After that battle, I went back to Pewter City and did some training. While there, Max evolved into Kakuna. I went back to Route 3 where Onion evolved into Ivysaur. Further into the route, I caught a Jigglypuff and named it... Oh goodness no. Yeah, I can explain. I really wanted a Nidoran, but I didn't get one, so I maybe kinda took my anger out on the Jigglypuff. But I changed it, but to be fair, naming a female dog does not help either. After entering Mount Moon, I caught Torch the Zubat. Before this Nuzlocke, I always avoided Zubat because I just thought it was annoying. But a lot of people were saying that Crobat was really good, so I wanted to see if that was the case. But unfortunately, you can't get Crobat in Kanto. Literally any version of Kanto is just unavailable until you get the National Dex. But I still wanted to use it, so I just moved on. Towards the end of the cave, I battled the scientists for special rocks, evolved Max, exited the cave, then arrived in Cerulean City. Once I arrived in Cerulean City, I went back to Route 4 and caught Calvin the Spearow. After that, I challenged Misty, who I also proceeded to wipe the floor with. Again, something that Charmander could never do. After defeating Misty, Gary challenged me to a battle. After defeating Gary, I catch an Oddish and forgot to name it. Yeah, there's a few moments in this run where I kind of forgot to name my Pokemon. Also, I did a lot of grinding off screen, so that's why Torch is a Golbat now. Sucks he can't be a Crobat. Anyway, I meet up with Bill on Route 25 and turn him into a human again, and he gives me the SSN ticket. Then I went south of Cerulean City and arrived in Vermilion City. There I caught Sea Crusader the Magikarp, which I spelled like this because I couldn't fit the last E. Then I caught a Diglett and forgot to name it. I went to the Pokemon daycare, put Sea Crusader in, and ran up and down the secret passageway until I was able to evolve it into Gyarados. Also, during this time I was talking about the Pokemon series and where I ranked them. I don't know why, I was just speaking just to speak. Okay. A bird just flew into my window. After evolving Sea Crusader, I boarded the SSN to get the HM for cut. While on there, Gary challenges me to a battle. After defeating him, the game decides to troll me.
Oh shoot! Torch is evolving. Let's go. I mean, you were good as a zoo. You were good as a Crobat. Excuse me? What? Did my Crobat just bait me into thinking it was evolving?
Yeah, this goes on for a while. After getting off the SSN, I went to go challenge the next gym leader, Lieutenant Surge. Also, I'd like to add that the Vermilion City gym puzzle, not my favorite. You have to look for a button and just hope that the next one is either next to it or behind it. And if you screw up, you have to do the whole thing again. And it can literally go anywhere. Anyway, after solving that annoying gym puzzle, I take on Lieutenant Surge, who I destroy with Diglett. Never thought I'd say that sentence. After defeating Surge, I caught Sneck the Ekans on Route 9. After catching Sneck, I enter Rock Tunnel and catch George the Mankey. And while fighting the trainers in the Rock Tunnel, Onion evolved into Venusaur.
Heck yeah, bro.
I arrive in Lavender Town soon after. Once I arrive in Lavender Town, I go straight to Celadon City. Then I went to Route 7 and found a Growlithe, who I failed to catch. Stupid dog. After failing that encounter, I took my anger out on the Flower Girls and Erica. After getting my 4th gym badge, I went to Saffron City and started to do some planning for Sabrina. As we all know, when it comes to Nuzlocke, Sabrina is a generational run killer, and that's because of her type specialty, Psychic. Now, if this were to be any other generation, like Gen 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then there will be no problem. But in any version of Kanto, dark types don't exist, bug types are terrible, and the only ghost type is weak to Psychic. So best believe this took me a while to figure out. I went to the fighting dojo and got a Hitmonchan who I named Sean. And if any of my family members are watching this, any relation to people in the real world is completely coincidental. I clear out the rocket hideout and get the Silph Scope. Then I went back to Lavender Town to save Mr. Fuji from more Team Rocket grunts. While there, I caught a Ghastly and named it For Lifer, and I can't even explain this one. Once I saved Mr. Fuji, he gives me the Poke Flute. Then I went down to Route 12 and caught Jack the Snorlax, who I definitely intended on using. On Route 15, I caught Bug the Venonat, as if that wasn't pretty obvious, then arrived in Fuchsia City. Once I arrived in Fuchsia City, I entered the Safari Zone. While there, I tried to catch a Paris and failed. I got the HM for Surf, then went back to Celadon City to get an EV which I named Uverse. After that, I went to Saffron City to clear out the Silph Co building. While doing so, Gary challenges me to a battle, and I almost lost Jack.
Jack, you can definitely take this. Jack, you can tank this, right? Jack. Oh my gosh, Jack, that is a salute to you, bro.
After beating Gary, I get a Lapras and named it Millie. Once I clear out the Silphco building, I get the Master Ball and continue to do some more training. During that time, I evolved my Eevee into a Flareon. That's because in Gen 3, Shadow Ball was a physical move, and Flareon not only has the highest attack stat out of all of the evolutions available, it also has the highest special defense. Before I challenged Sabrina, I challenged Koga. I took out his first 3 Pokemon with Jack, then his ace with Onion. After defeating Koga, I went to Cinnabar Island to challenge Blaine. Honestly, I didn't really have enough confidence to take on Sabrina just yet, but honestly, she should have been a 7th gym leader from the start. Once I arrive on Cinnabar Island, I go to the mansion to find the gym key. While there, I caught Hammer the Grimer. After finding the key, I enter the gym, beat all the trainers, then challenge Blaine, who I soloed with C. After defeating Blaine, I went to Saffron City and challenged Sabrina. I take out her Kadabra with Uverse and her Mr. Mime with Jack. Then I take out her Venomoth with Uverse. Then things started to crumble. My plan was to use Millie and Paris Song the Alakazam, then let Millie fall so that I can safely bring out Uverse to get the KO. I didn't really need to use Paris Song since Shadow Ball could have just O-coded, but I wanted to make sure that I had every area covered. But here's the thing, I forgot Millie, so I had to find a way to work around this tiny slip up of mine. I sent out Meowth so that I could heal Uverse. I sent out Jack, and the absolute worst happened.
Wait, what? No. No! No, Jack! Not Jack! Not Jack! No way!
And oh, that was traumatizing. I couldn't even sleep that night, but we still had to move on. With a heavy heart, I dropped Meowth and Jack into the death box, and then added Sean and Hammer to the team. While doing some training off screen, a couple of things happened. I trained up Sean and Hammer, I caught a Magnemite in the power plant, then it died, and I caught a Drowsy naming it Ellie. Oh yeah, and I caught a Zapdos.
Hey, get your numbers up.
I fly back to Viridian City to take on the final gym leader. I take out his Rhyhorn and Dugtrio with Onion, then his Nidoqueen, other Rhyhorn, and Nidoking with C, getting me my final gym badge. After getting my final gym badge, I began training for the league. I head to the Victory Road, and Gary challenges me to a battle. After defeating Gary, I start making my way through the Victory Road. While in the Victory Road, I caught Brock the Geodude. Once I exit the Victory Road, I immediately start training for the league. Now, this part had to be probably my biggest test of dedication. My plan was to have my entire team around the same level as the champion's highest level Pokemon, which is 63. I spent so much time flying around Kanto on my tiny little Spearow in the Sebi Islands training.
Oh, let him get up, let him get up, let him get up.
And in the casino gambling, and an 11-year-old should not be spending that much time in a casino. After all that training, I was finally ready. My final team consisted of C the Gyarados, Savoir the Dragonite that I got from the casino as a Dratini, and that I hope does something because I spent so much time getting it from a Dratini to a Dragonair to a Dragonite to a level 62 Dragonite. Torch the Golbat, Ellie the Hypno, Uverse the Flareon, and my starter, Onion the Venusaur. First was Lorelei. I take out her Dugong, Cloyster, and Slowbro with C, her Jinx with Uverse, and her Lapras with C. Next was Bruno. I take out his Onix with Onion, his Hitmonchan with Ellie, his Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan with Torch, then his other Onix with Onion. Next was Agatha. I take out her Gengar with Ellie, then her Golbat with C. I take out her Arbok with Ellie, then he falls to a Shadow Ball. I get revenge and take out her Gengar with Uverse. Then Torch fell to her Haunter, which I take out with Uverse. With 2 members of my team down, I wasn't really feeling too good about Lance, but I knew I had to keep going. I take out Lance's Gyarados with C and his Aerodactyl with Onion. Then Uverse fell to Lance's Dragonite. After that, I take out Lance's Dragonite and 2 Dragonairs with C. Yeah, now I'm starting to feel it. Up until now, I've just been defeating my opponents with ease. Even Sabrina if you don't include Jack dying. Now I have to take on the champion with half a team. Oh, I honestly, I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it. The final battle with Gary begins. And all I'm going to say is, there is a god. I take out Gary's Pidgeot and Rhydon with C and his Alakazam with Savoir. And yeah, I'm pronouncing it that way because the last time someone named their Pokemon Savoir, they won. And I'm hoping that the same thing happens to me. I take out his Gyarados and his Ace Charizard with C.
Game on the line. Shoot down Tabari. Bitch. Fuck, nigga. Let's go.
And his Exeggutor with Savoir, completing my first Pokemon Nuzlocke. Oh my gosh, it's over. And yeah, that's gonna do it for the video. I had a lot of fun making this video, and while I do say that about a lot of my videos, or all my other videos, this one it felt different, because I got to relive moments from when I first started doing YouTube again, and honestly this was probably the perfect way to do it. And since the original video is kind of, you know,
go with Bulbasaur and Onion. Gary, can you keep this to a minimum, please?
It was nice to see how far I've come when it comes to like editing and even speaking and like all these other things like audio quality, because in the original video my mic sounded terrible, and in the original live streams and parts of my becoming a water master video my mic was like terrible. And it really shows how far I've come and how much I've learned over the past 2 years. So yeah, I'll say this video felt very nostalgic, and I had a lot of laughs seeing all of the stuff that I did and seeing all the Pokemon that I lost. Like seriously, only 14-year-old me could lose a Zapdos and a Magnemite. Especially after my Pokemon Planet video where I said that Magnezone would have been the best Pokemon to have in a Kanto playthrough. But then again, there are many Pokemon that got evolutions in Gen 4 that aren't even in the remakes. Even in the Let's Go games, I don't think Crobat exists. I don't know, I have to look it up. Anyway, yeah, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day or night, depending on when you're watching this. And I'll see you guys next time. Later.